When I started in privacy almost 25 years ago and working with companies to review and certify their website data collection practices, two questions kept coming up time after time. Why do you need to collect that? And what are you going to use it for? Often, the answer I heard is, we aren't using that data for anything, or we don't know yet, we might use it at a later date. This was especially true with startups. Let's fast forward to now. Privacy professionals, regardless of the size of company they're with, deal with this challenge every day, often surprised that their company is collecting data that does not necessarily fit in with what the company does. Companies tend to think that more data is better and all the data being collected is necessary, especially now with generative AI models more readily available. However, that is not the case. Welcome back to the Privacy PowerUp series. I'm Joanne Furtsch and Vice President of Privacy Knowledge at TrustArc. Today, we're going to explore the principle of data minimization, focusing on the challenges of data collection, why less data is actually more, and provide some tips on how to determine if the collection of data is necessary and how long to keep it. First, let's start off with discussing what data minimization is. Data minimization is limiting the amount of data collected to what is necessary and relevant to a stated purpose or use, and only keeping the data as long as it's needed for that stated purpose. Though it is a core privacy principle that has been around for a long time and required by privacy laws such as GDPR, data minimization hasn't really been much thought about until now. What has brought data minimization to the forefront? The answer is simple: AI. Companies need vast amounts of data to train their AI models, especially large language models. This need for large amounts of data set off alarm bells for regulators and privacy professionals alike, as the risk associated with collecting data for the purpose of training AI models is high, and the potential of harm to individuals through biases that are inherent in the training of the data is also high. Regulators basically said, hey, wait a minute, do you really need all that data? Data minimization is a core principle of our privacy law, and is all that data really necessary for training your AI model? Companies are like, yes, we need the data to train our AI model, which raises a challenge for privacy professionals like yourself to help the business understand and determine what data are truly needed. There are risks and challenges inherent in collecting and keeping data. Some of those include data accuracy and quality. Ensure the data collected is accurate, which is challenging to do at scale. You get garbage in, garbage out. The accuracy, quality, relevance, and timeliness of data degrades if it's kept for long periods of time. Data volume. Storing large amounts of data can get expensive, and time and resources will need to be spent finding scalable and cost-effective storage solutions. Potential to infringe upon the privacy rights of individuals if the data is not handled properly, especially if the data is collected from third-party data sources versus collecting it directly from the individuals themselves. Security. Storing large amounts of collected data increases a company's risk in the event of a breach and the costs associated with responding to it, especially fines that can be incurred as a result of the breach. Data integration. When receiving data from multiple sources, it is challenging to integrate across systems to get a complete picture of business operations. These challenges and risks not only apply to data collected for training AI models, they apply to all types of data collection. Understanding these challenges will help you and your business make the necessary decisions about what data is necessary to meet business needs and to determine how long do you really need to keep it. Hanging on to old dusty data only increases your data protection risk. Which gets to why, in terms of data collection, less is actually more. Here are some of the benefits of collecting only the data necessary for the specified processing purposes. Reducing the noise. Collecting less data enables companies to focus on the information that is most relevant to achieving their business goals. Faster and more reliable decision making. Less data can reduce the number of errors and inconsistencies in the data, and enabling faster access to information allows for more efficient and effective decision making. Cost reduction. Storage, maintenance, and human resource costs are lower when maintaining less data. Security. Having less data reduces breach risk by limiting the number of records that could be affected in the event of a breach. Digital carbon footprint reduction. Storing data has an environmental impact. Reducing the amount of data stored helps save energy, since the amount of energy needed to process data is reduced. The benefits of data minimization reduce costs and risk and enable the business to achieve its goals faster and more effectively through making more reliable decisions. Now we have an understanding of the risks and challenges associated with collecting too much data and the benefits of why less is more. How can we put the data minimization principle into practice? Let's explore some practical tips for determining if the collection of data is necessary and how long it should be kept. Review your acceptable data use policies to ensure that collection and storage of data is limited to what is necessary and relevant to a stated purpose or use, and data is only allowed to be kept as long as it's legally required or needed for stated purposes. Ensure there are requirements to delete the data when it is no longer needed. Embed privacy by design into product and service design and development process, reviewing what the product or service is designed to do and what data is truly necessary to deliver it. This will also create awareness of data minimization principles with employees involved in the design and development process. Leverage data minimization techniques and technologies like anonymization and pseudonymization. Anonymization removes personal information such as sensitive identifiers from datasets, which allows the de-identified data to be used for analysis and product improvement purposes. Pseudonymization is the replacing of personal information like someone's name with a unique code. Unlike anonymization, pseudonymized data can be re-identified using a key that links the code to the replaced personal information. Using pseudonymization helps reduce data storage security and privacy risks. Employees involved in the processing access only the information they need to do their jobs. Conduct a data system inventory. Make sure this data system inventory includes systems provided by third-party vendors. Understand what data is being collected and processed by that system and the purpose the data is being processed. It is important to understand what data you have and why in order to determine its necessity. Use the risk assessment process, conducting your PIAs and DPIAs to understand the risk associated with the data identified through your system inventory, the processing of that data, and how long it's kept. This will help you determine if you really need that data for that specified processing purpose, and whether you're keeping it so long that the data is just getting old and dusty. Forever and indefinitely are not considered valid data retention periods. There are tools and solutions that can help you automate the implementation of the tips I've outlined, including the automatic flagging of data collection and processing risk and conducting data inventories and risk assessments. In this new world of more generally available AI technologies, data minimization is now more important than ever, as the use of too much data to train AI models may result in unexpected outputs and created biases that can erode trust. As more companies look to integrate AI into its products or data processing activities, it is important to understand your company's data collection and processing risk, and that methods for implementing data minimization techniques are considered from the outset. That's all for this segment of the Privacy PowerUp series. If you haven't already, go back and watch the first video in this series that covers getting started in privacy. Next up to help you power up is data inventories, mapping, and records of process. Thanks for watching.